Hi Grant, I wanted to get back to you as soon as I could from the couple of questions that you've asked me recently. So I've done this little video for you, and hopefully it will help answer the questions that you have. So the questions that you've asked are, well, first of all, so Nacho says hi. Do you say hi, Nacho? That's about as much of a hi. There you go. Nacho says hi. So your questions that you have are relating to your own personal dog, or your wife's dog, and I don't know what breed that dog is. That would be helpful maybe to, if you're also able to tell me the breed. It would assist, but it doesn't. I mean, breed does matter, of course, because you need to fulfill the breed in the dog, but I would say you need to focus on, the dog first, then the breed. But the breed is helpful because we need to see, is the breed being fulfilled? Especially with a question like this. So the first question that you're asking was about the dog is very good at recall, the dog will heel, the dog's nice-natured, don't really have any problems, with the exception of scavenging. It's wanting to eat everything off the ground, and not only in the house, but not only out the house, but in the house as well. Can be quite scavenging. Now, the first rule that I would say is, and the dog is remote collar trained, and you've already done some like high level corrections for the dog scavenging. If we look at outside the house, first of all, if you like, my first thing would be, when you are then correcting the behaviour, which you should do, what are you giving them to do instead? Are you making sure the dog is back into a heel? The dog is back into that follower migration mode? Is it only when the dog is on free time that they're starting to scavenge? If so, then their free times needs to be reduced. I would have that there's a bit more structure in their life, in terms of on the walk, and that also ties into in the house as well. So you're saying in the house the dog's good at place, the dog is just a well-mannered dog, except when it's off place, sometimes it will scavenge. So you have to correct the dog for that in a high level, and then back to the do this instead, so back to place. It's my understanding you were saying that is what you've been doing. The other things that I'd be looking at is, I need to know the type of dog as well. Is it quite a dog that just likes to have things in its mouth? Is it just a dog that just wants to eat everything? There's only so many things that you're going to be able to change in the dog. And something like scavenging, like we've got a dog and he just loves to eat. He loves to scavenge. He's just a wee pig. Our little polar bear, he's very obedient. He's probably in many ways our most obedient dog, but he naturally is a scavenger as well. He is from the streets of Cyprus, and he would be a great little street dog. Obviously the mixes that he's mixed with as well, make that even stronger. So I have in my mind, and so does Louise, that like that'll probably be something that never goes away. You have to be on it for him. We can add more structure, we can correct him when he's done wrong, but just in terms of his genetics and little personality and just the way they are, that probably isn't. You can control it, of course, but if you want to be fully in control, then you should have e-collar on. One of the questions that you asked was, I struggle in or out the house with him not scavenging if he doesn't have the e-collar. I would be saying right now, if your words aren't powerful enough, then you have to go back to touch, and that's just reality. So you either have to use leash or you have to use remote collar. you're far more gentle and far more effective using remote collar. So, yeah, it'd be helpful to know the breed, but if he's anything like our polar, then yeah, I don't. There's only so much that you're going to be able to. You're not really also trying to change the dog's personality, but you're trying to have, of course, control. But if the dog is really scavenging quite a lot outside, I would definitely be using e-collar, high level correcting that. And in the areas that you normally think the dog would scavenge, is you have to make sure that the dog is structured in a follower mindset. So they'd be in a heel, walking beside you. And in the house, really emphasize on the place training if you've corrected them. Now, as they do this instead. Now that ties you into the second issue that you have with the dog is sometimes when the dog is on place, the dog is whining, and I think you said happy whining, but just adrenalized, high whining, so much that is annoying you. So same rule, you have to correct that. The way I personally do it is I bring the dog off the place, and then I'll correct the dog off the place and then put them back on. I want the place to be just a chill out zone, the relaxing space. Is it more likely that the dog's doing this whining before they've been walked, after they're walked? Doesn't matter, it could be any time. In other words, I'm wondering how much of the dog's energy, how tired or rested or calm or excited they are, has an impact. And where a lot of trainers and people will try to calm the brain by disciplining the body. So they'll try to make the dog be calm by putting them in a down, or they'll try and make them calm by putting them in a sit. Whereas that body position is only going to be associated with how they're feeling at the time. So if the dog is being too excited and when they're on place they're whining, it could be that you haven't maybe corrected the excitement before putting them on place. Whereas a lot of people use place to calm the dog. I would want place to be the calming area, if that makes sense. So if my dog is then too excited on place, I'd bring the dog off place, correct it, and then put the dog back on place. I want that to be the chill out zone. And as I say, I would also look at how much exercise the dog is getting, that would probably be my focus. You also mentioned doing it when the dog was in a double down whining. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what a double down is, it's a terminology that some trainers use, and it's where the dog is not only in a down position, but their head is to be down as well. And they call that a double down. So it could be that the dog, sometimes putting the dog into a double down increases anxiety, in my experience. Sometimes holding the dog, feeling they're being held in that position, can increase anxiety. So it's not something I do. It's something that I would more take the dog off of the place and correct the dog. If there's too much energy, I would have emphasised on exercising that dog more, and then putting him on place. I would also look at, personally for me, is if it's a boy dog in particular, is the dog neutered? How old is the dog? I don't know these things, but you're far more likely to have a dog that is not neutered to give off. Some of these things can be hormonal responses as well, even the scavenging or the nose down all the time, and also the excess whining. So I would look at that as well if the dog isn't neutered, so you can feedback and let me know if that is the case. So I hope that helps. In other words, definitely still be using e-collar for longer. I don't know how long you've been using e-collar as an avoider. So you have to do at least 90 days. I don't know how long. And then the reality is some dogs' behaviours that you're fine-tuning, like a scavenging or something like that, sometimes they don't, you can control it, but they'll always have that. But things like neutering can help. And focusing on having that structure like outside, like them being in a heel, and not that as much free time in those areas where the dog will scavenge. And in the house, working on the place, but if the dog is whining on place, I'd bring the dog off the place, correct it, put the dog back on place. I think we mentioned that in one of the last videos as well. So hopefully that answers your questions, and I'm sure you're going to have a response to what I've just said, and if you do, then please feel free to send me a question back and I'll respond to you.